Hello everyone, I am Bradley Sward, Associate Professor of Computer and Information Science at the College of DuPage in Glen Ellen, Illinois, and this video is a look at the Day 5 activities of Advent of Code 2020. I wrote my answer in Python. So the problem is binary boarding. It's kind of like a reverse binary search. I guess instead of searching for numbers, you're kind of searching for a number, but you're reverse searching for it. You don't know if what you're actually going for because you're going lefts and rights and reducing the ranges until you're down to the one number it could possibly be, as opposed to searching to see if a specific number is in the list. That's pretty, I think it's a pretty cool problem. So just saying, like, starting from the range of 0 to 127, if I say F, that means reduce, so it's the lower half, and if I say B, now take that and mean the upper half, and just go down until you're down to one number. And so that's the first 7 characters, and the same goes for the top, or the last 3 characters, except because there's 3 of them, there can be 8 possibilities. It's like reverse binary. I guess if you could find, after writing all this code, if I could find a way to turn this into a binary in a way, like try to figure out the conversion rate, I can do this in like 3 lines of code. But whatever, let's probably do that in 3 lines of code. Maybe I'm just being a pompous ass. But anyway, so the 7 characters figure out a number between 0 and 127. I'm sorry, 0 and 127, and the last 3 get me a number between 0 and 7. I take the row times 8 and I add the column, and I say for 827 records, or however many are in here, what is the largest number I can find for if I do this where I take the row times 8 plus 5. And so coming through here, just to talk out the code, for those of you who are here for the education and not the entertainment part of this, just to get the answer. So I could say, again, reverse binary search. Left is 0, right is 127. If I were going to halve off, I want to halve off by 64, which is right plus 1. I could just put 64, but for whatever reason I wrote that. So go for the first 7 characters. If I'm an F, reduce the right half, and if it's not, reduce the left half, and then just cut down the value from 64 to 32 to 16 to 8. And then whatever left is, when you get through with this reverse binary search, is the answer. And so the column is exactly the same, except I only do it 3 times, and the number starts at 7. I could probably write a function if I wanted to, and just reduce this down into one function and not 2, supply it a few more parameters and get done with it. But anyway, so that gets me the row, that's getting me the column, and then I can imagine everything else is pretty simple here. For every file, every record in my file, go ahead and split by new line character and just put it into a list. For every line in that list, use the getRow function for that element of the list to get the number, times it by 8, get the column, and just basically run a max, and then print that out when you get done with the whole thing. And when you do that, you get the answer 926, which you've been looking at for the longest, and you're like, well, shoot, Brad, not this time. I'm not going to redo that. So that's how you do part 1, and you get the answer of 926. Okay, and here's my first scandal that I've ever had as a YouTube commenter. Is it cheating to say I didn't technically use Python to solve part 2? And part 2, my wife had to explain this. She was sitting here with me, and I felt like what is going on? It took me a while to realize that if you sort out, if you go through and you take every ticket and you convert it into a number, that there's going to be one number that basically in the entire set that it doesn't belong. Of the 800 and whatever records, yours got lost. Maybe this is obvious to other people, but it wasn't obvious to me, because reading isn't my thing tonight. So there's all these numbers in the list, and you go, well, where is there a break? And so I sorted everything out. Oh, let me just show you here. Very simply, I only added a few lines here. I have it here, this numbers is a list, and then I also append every result to it. I sorted it out when it was all said and done, and I printed it out. And now here I am. And where is the break? The break here is hard. It's one of those things where exactly hard to find, but right here, 662. I'm trying to remember what the actual answer is here. 56. Here it is. And so of all the numbers that printed out, you could go through here and you could say, the number has to be 657, and it is because there's a 656 and a 658, but no 657. And I would say I'm not going to write it in Python. I'm too good for that now. But the reasoning is that if you go through the list, for every element in the list, if you find the one which isn't one greater than yourself, then you know you found what you're looking for. So I'm saying not that it's fun to have this done. Like, I don't need a programmatic answer for a one-off problem on this one anyway. I don't necessarily care about finding a solution in the general sense, because that's a one-time problem. He's never going to be lost on the full flight specifically the same way ever again. So it's a one-off. Anyway, thanks for sticking with me as always. This one turned out to be easier. I get easier in quotes than I thought it would be. And hopefully tomorrow will be the same. Take care, everybody. See you.